Terry Gilliam has sort of a bad reputation in Hollywood for being a bit of a maverick. I look on him as a man of fierce integrity for his work with getting Brazil brought onto the big screen. He was almost given the nod to be able to do one of the Harry Potter movies, but they couldn't quite trust him. One of the reasons they knew who he was to ask him about Harry Potter is because of a movie called 12 Monkeys. Had Brad Pitt and Bruce Willis doing it up together in a well thought out, very clever, probably the best mental institution involved time traveling movie there is.
But you're right, this was my real introduction to Terry Gilliam as a director. Like I've heard of him, and I knew that he did Brazil and all these other movies that were quite bizarre. I maybe had tried to watch them in the past, I didn't quite get it. But at the time, the timing was right for me when 12 Monkeys came out, that I really sat down and I watched it, and it just opened doors. Like, I had to probably watch it 3 or 4 times in the first couple months that it was out. I was working at a video store, by the way, no cost to me. And it's so good. Like, it's one of those movies that I still watch now and I don't quite get.
I guess they give you some chemical restraints, huh? Drugs! What did they give you? Thorazine? Haldol? How much? How much? Learn your drugs, know your doses. It's elementary.
It's my favorite Brad Pitt role, because he plays a totally crazy guy. He just, at the time, was his peak of being like the hottest, sexiest man. And instead of him being like in a rom-com film, he decides to get in a Gilliam film and be crazy and have a crazy eye and have really bad hair at times and just really make himself not that attractive.
Why don't you sit down, Mr. Cole?
The story unfolds as sort of a dystopian future. Mankind has been forced to live underground because there's been a giant plague and almost all the humans are dead. Send Bruce Willis back in time to go and set some things right, only he pretty much sets everything wrong. Now, he gets landed in a mental hospital. It was his first time out, where he meets Brad Pitt, but he's coming from an institution as well in the future. And the movie works really hard at creating this sort of duality and these two worlds that seem so alike, to really try and confuse the viewer. You know, the viewer can't even be quite so sure what they're seeing is what they're seeing as it plays out. You know, maybe he is imagining everything, maybe he isn't. And so as this unfolds, he falls in love with Madeleine Stowe, and Madeleine Stowe is doubting him the whole time, and things start to happen that she can't deny, that there is something going on, there's something happening. But as they're hurtling on towards this future, you're sort of cringing, because it sometimes seems like they're causing their own undoing.
Remember, I'll be with you. I'll help you. Okay, I won't let them.
You have to appreciate him for his visual style alone. He creates his own world, and especially in the future worlds, he's able to build these like things that you don't know what they are. They have like eyes and arms and things that poke out of them, and they're creepy as all hell, but they serve some purpose in his world. And it's the little details like that I really appreciate in his film.
That ability to be able to build a set from scratch and to have it actually be real and physical, and you can touch it and see it, and it's all around him. Makes the film seem so much more, well, not realistic, but surreal. One of the special things the DVD has to offer, I mean, well, now it's cheap, but when I got it, it was expensive. Even when I got it at cost, it was still like around 30 bucks. I mean, I wanted it so bad, I got it anyways. I just wanted it for my Gilliam collection. I wanted to have all of his movies. It wasn't until much later that when I was going through the special features and watched the whole making of documentary, which was just unreal. And I couldn't really figure out, like, why was it was not advertised, it was not really even highlighted on the packaging, but I watched it, and then I realized, so it's made by the same guys who did Lost in La Mancha, which is the documentary of Gilliam's totally failed attempt to do The Man Who Killed Don Quixote and all the disasters that happened there. So these guys did such a great job at capturing the making of like 12 Monkeys that they got totally unfettered access, and they were able to do Lost in La Mancha and get full access to everything that was going wrong. But yeah, it's a real, it's not so much of an in-depth account of everything, so much as that it's a real exploration of just the feeling of what it was like to be on the set and be around Terry when the movie was being made. So it's really great value added inside the DVD.
Except I mean, on the other hand, you know, you're starting out with with the thought that you understand what's wrong. You're mentally divergent. You're mad.
12 Monkeys is mixed in 5.1, and it's also got a DTS track. It's got some director's commentary, but its real gem on there is the brilliant making of that's done by Keith Fulton and Louis Pepe. Those are the guys who went on to do Lost in La Mancha. This release actually went on to HD DVD, which of course we are saying a fond farewell to. Emmanuel Levy calls it a spectacular mess. Rich and complex, says the Montreal Film Journal. A clever, complex, and poignant success, says TV Guide's Movie Guide. Brian calls it a brain-teasing, multi-viewing masterpiece. Steve says, it gave me a headache. Yeah, it gave me a headache trying to find the answers to questions offered in this powerfully original voyage through time and the psyche.